It was a sound that didn't belong. A faint, almost imperceptible scratching from the corner of the room, a whisper of grit against polished wood. Amir stirred in his sleep, his hand instinctively reaching for his wife, Sanaa. She was still, her breathing a soft, steady rhythm beside him. The sound came again, sharper this time, like a nail being dragged slowly, deliberately, across glass. Amir's eyes snapped open, his heart beginning to pound a frantic drumbeat against his ribs. He scanned the familiar darkness of their bedroom in their Lahore home, the moonlight filtering through the curtains and casting long, skeletal shadows. His gaze fell upon the new addition to their room, standing tall and silent against the far wall. The scratching had stopped, but as he stared, he could have sworn he saw something move within its depths, a brief, dark flicker in the reflection that was not his own. The mirror had been an impulse buy, a decision born of a sun-drenched Saturday and the chaotic charm of the Anarkali Bazaar. Sanaa had spotted it first, tucked away in the back of a dusty antique shop, its ornate, hand-carved shisham wood frame dark with age. The shopkeeper, a wiry old man with eyes that seemed to hold centuries of stories, had given them a strange, almost pitying look. "It is very old," he'd rasped, his voice thin as parchment. "It has seen much. Are you sure it is what you want for your home?" They had laughed it off as a sales tactic, charmed by the mirror's Gothic elegance and the sheer history it seemed to exude. They haggled, paid, and arranged for the heavy piece to be delivered, oblivious to the weight of more than just wood and glass they were inviting into their lives. The first few days were idyllic. The mirror was a statement piece, its grandeur elevating their otherwise modern bedroom. It reflected the morning sun, the warm glow of the bedside lamps, the happy, tired faces of a young couple building their life together. But then, the subtle shifts began. It started with Sanaa. One evening, while brushing her hair, she froze, her hand hovering in midair. "Amir," she called, her voice tight. "Come look at this." He came to stand behind her, but he saw nothing amiss. Just his beautiful wife, her reflection staring back. "My face," she whispered. It looked wrong, twisted. He had dismissed it as a trick of the light, the fatigue of a long week. But he couldn't shake the image of the profound fear he saw in her eyes. A few nights later, it was Amir's turn. He was straightening his tie for a dinner party when he caught a glimpse of something monstrous in the glass. For a split second, the face staring back wasn't his. The eyes were cold, predatory, and a cruel, sneering smile twisted lips that were his own but held an expression he had never made. He recoiled, blinking hard, and when he looked again, his normal, anxious reflection was all that remained. He said nothing to Sanaa, not wanting to frighten her further, but a seed of dread had been planted, and it was beginning to take root in the fertile ground of their shared home. The mirror, once a source of pride, was becoming a source of quiet, creeping terror. The anomalies grew more frequent, more personal. They began to notice that the distorted reflections were not random monstrosities. They were echoes of their own worst impulses, physical manifestations of the darkness they kept hidden even from each other. One afternoon, Sanaa's visiting younger sister, Zara, glanced into the mirror while chattering about a friend who had received a university acceptance she had coveted. In the glass, Sanaa saw Zara's bright, youthful face momentarily warp into a mask of bitter, seething jealousy, her eyes flashing with a green, venomous light. Sanaa gasped, remembering the heated arguments from their teenage years, the intense sibling rivalry that had, at times, turned ugly. The mirror hadn't just distorted Zara's face. It had shown the raw, unfiltered envy she felt in that moment, a secret feeling she would never admit aloud. The mirror's revelations became a dark lens on their family history. When Amir's father came to visit, a stoic, respected patriarch, he paused before the mirror to adjust his caracal hat. Amir, watching from the doorway, was horrified to see his father's reflection contort into a figure of pure, unadulterated rage. The face in the glass was screaming, its mouth a silent, black hole of fury, its hands clenched into fists so tight the knuckles were white. The image instantly transported Amir back to his childhood, to a single terrifying memory he had long suppressed. His father, in a moment of extreme stress over his failing business, had hurled a vase against the wall, his face a perfect match for the enraged visage in the mirror. It was a side of his father he had seen only once and had tried to forget. The mirror, however, did not forget. It held on to the ugliest truths and threw them back with pitiless clarity. The house, once a sanctuary, now felt like a courtroom where they were perpetually on trial. The air grew thick with unspoken accusations and remembered transgressions. The couple started avoiding the bedroom, spending their evenings in the living room, the silence between them heavy with the knowledge of what the mirror was showing them. They were becoming strangers to each other, haunted not by a ghost, but by the ugly reality of their own human failings. The love that had once felt unshakable was being eroded by a constant, silent judgment. The mirror wasn't just showing them their inner demons. It was forcing them to confront the parts of themselves they had denied for years. Amir knew he had to get rid of it. The decision came after a particularly harrowing night. He and Sanaa had a small, petty argument over finances, a common stress for any young couple. Later, as he passed the bedroom, he dared to look. In the mirror, he saw his own reflection, but his features were warped by greed, his eyes gleaming with a calculating, avaricious light as his hands clutched imaginary money. He then saw Sanaa's reflection appear beside his, her face not angry, but etched with a deep, profound disappointment and a contempt so cold it chilled him to the bone. It was the same look he'd seen on his mother's face years ago when she discovered his father's secret debts. He realized the mirror was showing them not just their fleeting flaws, but how those flaws connected to inherited patterns, to the generational wounds they carried within them. "We have to destroy it, Sanaa," he said the next morning, his voice trembling. "It's tearing us apart. It's showing us the worst parts of ourselves, the worst parts of our families. It's not a mirror, it's a curse." Sanaa, her face pale and drawn, simply nodded. Relief washed over him, swift and immediate. They would end this. They would smash the cursed object and reclaim their home, their peace, their love. Together, they entered the bedroom, a new sense of purpose uniting them against the common enemy that had stood silent sentinel over their misery. Amir grabbed a heavy brass candlestick from the mantelpiece, its weight feeling solid and righteous in his hand. He stood before the mirror, his reflection looking back at him, clear and normal for the first time in weeks. Sanaa stood beside him, her own reflection just as it should be. He took a deep breath, steeling himself. This was it. He raised the candlestick high above his head, ready to bring it crashing down on the glass that had reflected so much pain. But as his arm reached the apex of its swing, Sanaa's reflection in the mirror suddenly smiled. It was not her smile. It was a slow, knowing, and utterly malevolent grin that spread across her face in the glass, a look of triumphant evil. Her real face, next to him, remained a mask of fear. Amir froze, his arm locked in place, his eyes wide with a new, more profound horror. The mirror wasn't just revealing the evil inside them, it was feeding on it. And as he stared, paralyzed, at the grinning reflection, he saw his own face in the glass begin to slowly, terrifyingly, smile back. Like, share, and subscribe for more spine-tingling horror.